At an orca theme park called World of Orca, a whale named Sito has been the main attraction for the past 20 years. One day, as two employees finish their shift, they talk about how Sito has changed ever since she lost her baby. Officially, the company says the baby died, but the workers believe it was actually taken away by company, and that Sito knows the truth. Before leaving, one of the employees goes to check on Sito. When she calls out, the orca doesn't respond like usual. Worried, she steps into the pool to get a closer look. Suddenly, Sito appears and startles her. At first, the whale circles around her, but without warning, Sito turns aggressive and attacks. At the same time, Maddie is working in a restaurant when she is suddenly surprised by someone calling her. It's her boyfriend Chad, who has just graduated. Maddie asks if their friend Trish is upset with her for missing the ceremony, but Chad reassures her that he made an excuse for her. Since Maddie's own graduation is coming up, Chad gives her a small gift, a necklace with a cello charm, because she loves playing that instrument. He gently puts it around her neck, and they both lean in to kiss. Just then, a robber walks into the restaurant and points a gun at them. The robber forces them to drop their phones and pushes Chad away. He then tells Maddie to give him all the money. Scared, she quickly hands over everything from the register. But the robber isn't satisfied and demands her necklace too. Maddie struggles to remove the necklace, and in that moment, Chad sees a chance. He suddenly jumps on the robber, trying to take the gun from him. However, the robber is stronger and quickly gains control, hitting Chad with the weapon. Seeing this, Maddie joins the fight and grabs the front of the gun at the same time as the robber. They both struggle, pulling it back and forth. Suddenly, the gun goes off by accident near Maddie's head, leaving her ears ringing. Even after that, the fight continues. Chad manages to take control of the gun and shoots the robber, causing him to fall. But instead of staying down, the robber quickly grabs the money and runs outside, escaping in his truck. Chad runs outside and finds Maddie's necklace lying on the ground. He picks it up and giving it to her again. But suddenly the robber returns. He drives his truck straight at Chad, hitting him and killing him instantly. 1 year later, Maddie is still working as a waitress, but her life has completely changed. Because of the gunshot, her hearing is permanently damaged, and now she has to wear a hearing aid. One day, her friend Trish comes to visit her and gets upset because Maddie never answers her calls. It becomes clear that they haven't seen each other since the tragic incident. They had always dreamed of going on a trip together, so Trish decides to take action and plans everything herself. She has already booked and paid for the trip, hoping it will help Maddie move on. As they start packing, Maddie comes across old pictures of Chad, and she becomes emotional, lost in memories of him. Trish tries to comfort her, but then she notices Maddie's cello sitting in the corner, covered in dust with a broken pin. Maddie quietly admits she hasn't played it in a long time, but she doesn't want to talk about it. A few hours later, the two arrive in Thailand. Trying to relax, they spend time by the pool, enjoying drinks and taking pictures together, with Trish's waterproof phone for her social media. Later, they go to the beach, where Trish starts flirting with a guy named Josh who works at a tourist information booth. Nearby, a woman is selling souvenirs, and the two girls buy some small wooden whale toys. Trish remembers that Maddie and Chad always talked about visiting the famous Orca show, so she happily tells Maddie that she already bought tickets for it. But instead of being excited, Maddie gets upset and walks away. Trish follows her and asks what's wrong. Maddie explains that after everything that happened, she doesn't like seeing animals kept in captivity and doesn't want to support the world of Orca. Realizing her mistake, Trish apologizes, and they decide to do something else instead. They return to the information booth, where Josh invites them to a party that night. In the evening, the girls go to the party and have a great time. They dance for hours and drink until they are drunk. Later, Josh shows them a broken part of the fence around World of Orca and suggests they can sneak inside. Excited and careless, the three of them enter the park quietly, avoiding the guards until they reach the pool area. Maddie goes closer to the pool alone, while Trish and Josh stay behind, busy with each other. As Maddie stands near the water, she suddenly hears a strange sound in her hearing aid. When the noise stops, the orca, Sito, slowly appears in front of her. Maddie gently raises her hand and softly apologizes for what humans have done to her. At the same time, a janitor is cleaning nearby. When Sito hears a splash, she quickly swims away. Maddie thinks the noise came from her friends, so she goes to check on them, but they are still at the entrance. When she looks back at the pool, she is shocked to see the janitor's dead body floating in the water. Terrified, she screams and runs. A security guard notices the body and immediately starts searching the area. He soon finds Maddie, Trish, and Josh, and begins chasing them. The three panic and run as fast as they can, but luckily, they manage to escape from the park. Afterward, the guard calls his boss and reports that there has been another death in Sito's tank. Hearing this, the boss coldly orders him to get rid of the whale. The next morning, Maddie wakes up on the beach, and Trish and Josh have a surprise planned for her. They all go for a jet ski ride, speeding across the ocean and enjoying the moment. After some time, they reach a quiet, deserted island. Maddie is amazed by how beautiful the place is and wonders why no one comes there. Josh explains that something bad happened there years ago, and since then, locals believe the island is cursed. Josh notices that Trish is spending too much time on her phone, so Maddie explains to him what an influencer is. Annoyed, Josh takes Trish's phone and locks it away in the jet ski, telling her to enjoy the moment instead of focusing on social media. Maddie also has her phone with her, but Trish secretly hides it from Josh. Later, Maddie relaxes on a float in the water while Trish and Josh ride the jet ski again. As Trish tries to take pictures using Maddie's phone, suddenly, the jet ski hits something in the water, and both of them fall in. Maddie's phone floats away, while Trish quickly swims back and climbs onto the float with Maddie. Confused, Josh swims back to check the jet ski. Out of nowhere, a powerful orca tail slams into it, causing the jet ski to sink and knocking Josh back into the water. The girls panic and shout for him to come to the float, but before he can reach them, the orca drags him underwater. Josh struggles and manages to come back up, desperately swimming toward them. He reaches out and grabs Trish's hand, but suddenly the orca pulls him down again. This time, he doesn't come back. Maddie and Trish watch in horror as the water turns red with blood, realizing that Josh is gone. Terrified and desperate to escape, the two girls start paddling with their hands, but suddenly, the orca swims beneath them and splashes blood all over them, forcing them to stop in fear. After the shock, they push themselves to keep going and finally reach a nearby rock. Just as they are about to climb onto it, the orca grabs the rope attached to the float and starts pulling them back into the water. After a tense moment, it suddenly lets go and swims away. Maddie quickly pulls the rope out of the water. When the orca returns, Maddie notices something unusual: its fin is bent. She realizes that this is the same whale, Sito. The orca comes close to the float but, strangely, doesn't attack. After a moment, it quietly swims away again. Maddie's hearing aid suddenly starts making a strange noise again. Right after that, Sito comes up to the surface, shows her face, and makes a sound toward the girls before diving back underwater. The girls get scared and scream when they feel Sito swimming beneath them, but this time, she doesn't attack. Maddie realizes that their only chance to survive is to swim away as fast as possible. Trish quickly jumps into the water to start swimming. Maddie is about to follow her, but she suddenly freezes because the noise in her hearing aid becomes louder again. She loses her balance and falls into the water. As she struggles, a small pouch from her pocket slips out and starts floating away. It contains the extra battery for her hearing aid. Maddie wants to grab it, but Sito is too close, and it's too dangerous. So, she quickly climbs back onto the float, leaving the pouch behind. Trish keeps swimming and manages to climb onto a rock just before Sito reaches her. Maddie throws her bag toward Trish, who has to reach into the water to grab it. Suddenly, Sito returns and starts pulling the rope attached to the float again. This time, the plug comes out, and the float begins to deflate. Realizing she has no choice, Maddie jumps into the water and swims as fast as she can toward the rock. She barely makes it, and Trish helps pull her up, but in the process, Maddie injures her foot. Right after that, Sito jumps out of the water and tries to bite her, but both girls quickly move away and avoid the attack. Relieved to be safe for the moment, they hug each other, but then Trish notices that she has hurt her thigh on the rock. Maddie takes off her jacket, and they tear the sleeves and wrap them around their wounds to stop the bleeding. They start talking about Sito and wonder how she became free. Maddie explains that orcas usually don't attack humans in the wild, and such behavior mostly happens in captivity. This makes her think that Sito still feels trapped and is acting out because of that. Looking through their bag, they realize they don't have much, just some chewing gum, which becomes their only food for now. They also find an empty sandwich bag. Trish fills it with air and explains that if they leave it in the sun, it might collect a little water over time, though it could take several hours. They try shouting for help, but no one hears them, so they decide to save their energy. After a few hours, Trish spots a boat far away. Both girls start screaming and waving, but sadly, the boat doesn't notice them and sails away. Being stuck on the rock makes Maddie understand how Sito must have felt being trapped in a pool. Suddenly, Sito swims nearby again, and Maddie's hearing aid starts making that strange noise. When they look into the water, they see something horrifying: Josh's severed arm, with a flashlight still tied to his wrist. With Trish's help, Maddie leans down and manages to take the flashlight. That night, they use the flashlight to signal for help, but no one sees them. By the next morning, their skin is badly burned from the sun. The plastic bag finally collects a few drops of water, and they share it carefully. After some silence, Trish gently asks Maddie why she stopped playing the cello. Maddie admits that after Chad died, she just couldn't bring herself to play anymore. The two hold hands, comforting each other in that painful moment. Hungry and weak, they decide to try eating an oyster from the water. Trish holds Maddie's legs while she leans down to grab it. But suddenly, Cito swims close again, scaring Maddie so much that she falls into the water. Even then, she manages to grab the oyster and quickly climbs back onto the rock with Trish's help, narrowly escaping Cito once again. After that, Trish tries to break the oyster open using a rock, but it doesn't work. Then Maddie takes out the small box that holds Chad's ashes and gives the lid to Trish. Using it, Trish finally manages to open the oyster. They both eat half of it. It tastes really bad, but they force themselves to swallow it because they need energy to survive. Maddie then looks at Chad's ashes and feels it's time to let him go. She says a few emotional words, kisses the box, and throws it into the sea. Trish, feeling guilty, apologizes for everything. Maddie tells her it's not her fault, but Trish insists she hasn't been a good friend and finally reveals the truth. She explains that a year ago, she was in serious debt. To get money, she made a plan with a coworker, who was actually the robber. Chad had told Trish that Maddie would be at home practicing her cello, so she wasn't supposed to be at the restaurant that day. Also, the robber wasn't supposed to bring a gun, but he broke their agreement, which led to everything going wrong. Because of this, Trish has been feeling extreme guilt and avoided Maddie for a whole year. Now she tries to apologize again, but Maddie gets angry. She tells Trish that she deserves to feel guilty. When Trish keeps apologizing, Maddie takes off her hearing aid so she doesn't have to hear her anymore. Later, Maddie falls asleep and has a painful dream about Chad's death, followed by a strange vision of herself playing the cello underwater. When she wakes up, Trish tries to check on her, but Maddie still ignores her. Wanting to fix things, Trish comes up with a risky plan. She decides to swim toward the sand, which is the farthest point, while Maddie will swim toward a closer rock. She hopes this will confuse Cito so the whale won't attack. Trish carefully gets into the water and starts swimming slowly to avoid making noise. However, Maddie doesn't follow her because she had removed her hearing aid and didn't hear the plan. When she finally realizes that Trish is already in the water, she quickly puts the hearing aid back on and starts shouting for her to come back. But Trish refuses to stop. The noise attracts Cito. Realizing the danger, Trish begins swimming as fast as she can. Cito starts chasing her, and seeing this, Maddie panics and jumps into the water as well, trying to help her friend. Maddie's splash makes Cito change direction and come after her instead. Maddie quickly swims to another rock and manages to climb up just in time, right before Cito tries to attack her. The plan works, and because of this distraction, Trish safely reaches the sand. Just then, a plane passes above them. Both girls start shouting for help, and Trish quickly writes SOS on the sand. But sadly, the plane doesn't notice them and flies away. Trish gets frustrated and keeps yelling, stepping backward without realizing she's too close to the water. Suddenly, Cito jumps out of the sea and bites Trish's leg, pulling her into the water. Maddie is shocked and thinks she has lost her friend. But after a moment, Trish somehow crawls back onto the shore, badly injured and missing her leg. She bleeds heavily and soon dies on the sand. Seeing this, Maddie completely breaks down. That night, Maddie turns on her flashlight again, but the battery dies. Soon after, her hearing aid also stops working. Now she is surrounded by complete silence and darkness, making everything feel even more terrifying. It starts raining, and Maddie opens her mouth to drink the rainwater, even laughing for a moment. Then suddenly, Cito appears again from the water. Maddie notices the scar on the orca and realizes that the animal has also suffered and tried to fight for freedom. Feeling inspired, Maddie gathers courage and jumps into the water. She swims as fast as she can and reaches another rock connected to a larger group of rocks. From there, she carefully jumps from one rock to another until she finally reaches the sand where Trish's body lies. Maddie gently closes her friend's eyes and buries her. After that, she remembers that Trish's phone is waterproof and still inside the sunken jet ski. She walks along the rocks to the spot where it sank, then dives into the water. Swimming quickly, she reaches the jet ski, grabs Trish's bag, and comes back up. Inside the bag, she finds her cello pin and the phone. But when she tries to use it, the phone's battery dies. Suddenly, she gets scared by something moving behind her, but it turns out to be just a life jacket floating out from the jet ski. At that moment, Sito comes back again. Maddie quickly dives into the water and searches the bottom of the sea, hoping to find something useful, but she finds nothing. When Sito gets close, Maddie hides behind the jet ski so the orca can't see her. After Sito swims away, Maddie notices her cello pin nearby. She tries to grab it, but her necklace gets stuck in the rocks, stopping her from moving. She struggles for a moment, and finally the chain breaks. She quickly takes the pin in her hand. When Sito comes close again, Maddie uses the pin to stab her. The orca feels pain and swims away. Now Maddie is safe for the moment. She swims back to the surface and holds onto a life jacket to stay afloat through the night. Early the next morning, a helicopter finally arrives and rescues her. Some time later, Maddie is seen playing the cello again at a concert, showing that she has survived and moved forward with her life.